First, it was Dutch farmers who revolted against EU climate policies, demanding that they reduce the number of belching and defecating cows under threat of land confiscation. Now it's German farmers and their tractors that rolled into Berlin to protest against German Chancellor Olaf Scholz's treating them like cows. Cash cows, to be precise, because Scholz is desperate to rummage up some change and decided that it's farmers who he's going to shake down to plug part of a massive 60 billion euro hole that he blew in the country's budget when he quietly took cash from a pandemic recovery fund and used it to pay for green energy transition, which the court ruled last month to be totally illegal. So Team Scholz had to take that cash back out of the green industry fund and put it back where he took it from, leaving a big deficit about as massive as the hole in the head of the person who came up with this dodgy scheme. So Scholz's coalition partners last week decided on a plan to drum up some cash by the old classic of increased taxation and spending cuts. Well, someone's got to pay for Scholz's screw-ups, and the farmers can at least be built for more cash under the pretext that the government tax subsidies for the sinful diesel fuel that powers their equipment deserves to be canceled, sacrificed on the altar of climate change. Farmers seem pretty chill about being martyred in the name of climate change to help Scholz whitewash his screw-up.
This makes our production costs much higher. We have to compete globally and on the EU market. We cannot sustain these rising costs.
We have to pay the taxes, bearing significant costs. The last thing we need is an additional financial burden. Considering our limited income, this situation isn't sustainable, and it would adversely impact all citizens. We cannot afford to let this happen.
Our objective is to stabilize society, ensuring everyone is fed by securing the food supply. The primary motivation behind the unrest is to prevent hunger.
Meanwhile, Scholz is presiding over the only major economy set to shrink this year. That's according to the International Monetary Fund. So with Germany strapped for cash, surely it's time to really get radical about focusing on the absolutely most critical interests of the average German's daily life.
It is also clear that if the situation worsens as a result of Russia's war against Ukraine, for example, because the situation on the front deteriorates, because other supporters reduce their aid to Ukraine, because the threat to Germany and Europe continues to increase, then Berlin will have to react.
Well, sounds like Germans are going to have to move to Ukraine now if they want Scholz to prioritize them, or maybe they can just stay home and self-identify as a tree or a plant and appeal to Scholz's green fantasies. Because to plug what Team Scholz considers to be about a 17 billion euro gap, they figure that in addition to taxing farmers, also jacking up the carbon tax on things like fuel would probably get the job done, they figure. So basically, it's the exact same taxation strategy that sparked France's Yellow Vest movement when French President Emmanuel Macron and his government did it. And well, dressing it up in green virtue didn't fool anyone here in France into thinking that the move was anything other than a desperate cash grab by a government equally desperate for more money to blow on misguided priorities, and, well, it's highly unlikely that Germans are going to think anything different.